So, allow me to clarify, Captain Jane Harper stated, pinching the bridge of her nose. You journeyed across the galaxy to offer us servitude? The alien diplomat, a towering accumulation of tentacles and eye stalks, nodded what Jane presumed was its head with precision. Isn't it marvelous? Jane exchanged glances with her second-in-command, who was visibly suppressing laughter. She cleared her throat. And in exchange for becoming your slaves, we receive peace? Eternal peace, the alien corrected enthusiastically, its tentacles waving in what could have been excitement or indigestion. It was hard to discern with these squid-faced interlopers. Right, eternal peace on a planet we no longer govern because we're slaves, Jane reiterated. The alien's eye stalks swiveled in bewilderment. You appeared dissatisfied with our munificent offer. Perhaps I should elucidate the advantages of slavery? Oh, please do, Jane responded, her voice saturated with enough sarcasm to fill the Mariana Trench. I'm eager to hear how being owned by space calamari is going to enhance my existence. As the alien launched into what was undoubtedly a rehearsed sales presentation, Jane's thoughts began to wander. She contemplated the years humanity had dedicated to preparing for first contact, the technological advancements, the cultural sensitivity training, the meticulous efforts to appear civilized and worthy of joining the galactic community. And now this, slavery with a smile. And that's precisely why our whips boast 30% superior ergonomics compared to the leading competitors, the alien concluded triumphantly. Jane blinked. I apologize, I must have drifted off somewhere between indentured servitude and ergonomic whips. Could you reiterate that last segment? The alien's tentacles drooped slightly. You're not interested? Gee, what gave it away? Jane's second-in-command muttered. Jane shot him a warning glance before turning back to the alien. Listen, Mr. What did you say your name was? Glugdor, the magnanimous conqueror of 1,000 worlds, bringer of chains and eternal peace, right? Guji. Can I call you Glowy? The alien's skin flushed a deep purple. I would prefer Glugdor. Great. So Glowy, here's the thing, Jane continued, disregarding the alien's sputtering protests. We humans have this peculiar quirk. We're not particularly fond of slavery. In fact, we have a history of violently opposing it. Glugdor's eye stalks drooped further. But the eternal peace? Yeah, about that, Jane said, leaning forward. We've got a counteroffer for you. How about you turn that fancy spaceship of yours around, go back to wherever you originated, and we'll consider that our eternal peace? The alien tentacles began to writhe in agitation. This is highly irregular. No species has ever rejected our offer before. Jane's second-in-command snorted. Maybe you should update your sales pitch, or, not attempt to enslave sentient beings. Glugdor's eye stalks swiveled rapidly between the two humans. But what about the benefits package? The dental plan? The company picnics? Hard pass, Jane said firmly. Now, are you going to depart peacefully, or do we need to demonstrate why attempting to enslave humanity is a spectacularly poor idea? The alien deflated visibly, its tentacles drooping to the floor. I suppose we'll take our leave then. Our superiors will be most displeased. As Glugdor shuffled dejectedly towards the exit, Jane called out, Hey, Glowy! The alien turned, a glimmer of hope in its eye stalks. Next time you want to make first contact, try bringing a fruit basket instead of chains. Works wonders for interspecies relations. As the door closed behind the dejected alien, Jane turned to her second-in-command with a weary sigh. Well, that was something. He grinned. You handled it beautifully, Captain, though I think you might have hurt poor Guji's feelings. Yeah, well, hurt feelings are preferable to enslaved planets, Jane retorted. Can you believe the audacity? Crossing the vastness of space just to offer us a job with really terrible benefits. To be fair, the dental plan did sound intriguing, he quipped. Jane rolled her eyes. Remind me to never let you negotiate with alien diplomats. As they made their way to the bridge to report on the bizarre encounter, Jane couldn't help but chuckle. When I joined the Space Force, I anticipated many things, dogfights with alien invaders, tense diplomatic negotiations, maybe even a little space romance. But this, turning down a slavery pyramid scheme from a purple octopus, that was definitely not in the brochure. Her second-in-command laughed. Just wait until we file the report, alien encounter terminated due to unacceptable benefits package and lack of ergonomic considerations. HR is going to have a field day with this one. As they reached the bridge, alarms suddenly blared to life. Jane rushed to her station, barking orders as she went. Report. What's happening? A young ensign looked up from his console, his face pale. Captain, it's Glugdor's ship. They're powering up their weapons systems. Jane's eyes narrowed as she stared at the viewscreen, watching the alien vessel's ominous glow. Well, looks like Glowy doesn't take rejection well. Shields up. Battle stations. As the crew scrambled to their positions, Jane allowed herself a small, fierce grin. If these aliens thought humanity would roll over and accept slavery just because they asked nicely, they were in for a rude awakening. Alright, folks, she announced to her crew, let's show these tentacled tyrants why you don't mess with humanity. And someone get me the comms, I've got a few choice words for our friend Glowy about proper business etiquette. As the alien ship loomed larger on the viewscreen, Jane grabbed the comm unit. Glowy, buddy, pal, she drawled, her voice dripping with faux sweetness, I thought we had an understanding. You go your way, we go ours, everyone's happy. But here you are, ruining a perfectly good Tuesday afternoon. The alien's face appeared on screen, tentacles writhing in what Jane could only assume was alien indignation. You dare reject our generous offer? No species has ever. Yeah, we're special snowflakes, I got it, Jane interrupted, rolling her eyes. Look, calamari breath, we tried to do this the nice way, but if you want to dance, we'll dance. As if on cue, a barrage of energy blasts erupted from the alien vessel, slamming into the shields of Jane's ship. The bridge shuddered but held firm. Rude, Jane muttered before shouting, return fire. Let's show these overgrown calamari rings what happens when you try to push humanity around. The human ship's weapons blazed to life, a dazzling display of destructive firepower that would have made the 4th of July jealous. The alien vessel rocked under the assault, its shields flickering. Captain, her tactical officer called out, their shields are down to 60%. Jane grinned. Well, what do you know? Looks like our primitive technology isn't so primitive after all. Hey, Glowy, on screen. Glugdor's eye stalks were swiveling wildly. This is impossible. Your species is barely out of its stellar cradle. Yeah, well, we grew up fast, Jane retorted. Now, are you going to turn tail and run, or do I need to introduce you to the business end of our main cannon? As if to emphasize her point, another volley of shots rocked the alien vessel. Sparks flew from consoles behind Glugdor, and what sounded suspiciously like alien cursing could be heard in the background. You barbarians. Glugdor sputtered. We offer you the gift of servitude, and this is how you repay us? Jane's second-in-command leaned in, whispering, I think he genuinely believes he's doing us a favor. Unbelievable. Jane muttered back before addressing Glugdor again, listen here, you pontificating pussbucket, we don't take kindly to slavery, attempted conquest, or really bad sales pitches. So here's what's going to happen, you're going to turn that fancy ship of yours around, go back to wherever you came from, and spread the word that Earth is off limits. Got it? Glugdor's tentacles drooped in defeat. And if we refuse? Jane's smile was all teeth. Then we'll be happy to demonstrate why humanity has a reputation for being stubborn, creative, and really good at breaking things we don't like. Your choice. There was a long pause as Glugdor seemed to consider his options. Finally, the alien deflated visibly. Very well. We shall take our leave. Smart choice, Jane nodded. Oh, and Glowy, next time you want to offer someone a job, try LinkedIn. Much less chance of interstellar war. As the alien ship retreated, its engines glowing as it prepared to jump to faster-than-light speed, a cheer went up from the bridge crew. Jane allowed herself a moment to bask in the victory before turning to her second-in-command. Well, that was fun, she said dryly. Remind me to update our first contact protocols. I think we need a section on what to do when aliens try to recruit you into a galactic pyramid scheme. He laughed. I'll get right on that, Captain. Though I have to say, your negotiation tactics were unique. Hey, it worked, didn't it? Jane shrugged. Besides, I always wanted to use pontificating puss bucket in a sentence. Now let's get this ship back in order. Something tells me this isn't the last we've seen of our friends from the stars. As the excitement on the bridge began to settle, Jane's communication officer suddenly perked up. Captain, we're receiving a transmission. It's not from Blue Door's ship. Jane raised an eyebrow. Oh, more alien telemarketers? Put it on screen, this ought to be good. The view screen flickered to life, revealing a face that was decidedly human. The man on the screen wore an impeccable suit and a smile that could sell ice to an Eskimo. Greetings, Captain Harper, the man said smoothly. I'm Gerald Worthington, CEO of Galactic Enterprises. I couldn't help but overhear your recent negotiation. Jane blinked. I'm sorry, what? How did you? Oh, details, Gerald waved dismissively. What matters is that I have a proposition for you. How would you like to be part of the exciting new multi-level marketing opportunity? We're expanding into the alien market, and with your negotiation skills, you'd be perfect. The bridge fell silent. Jane stared at the screen, her mouth hanging open. Finally, she found her voice. Let me get this straight, we just fought off alien slavers, and now a human wants to recruit us into what? A cosmic Avon? Gerald's smile never wavered. Think bigger, Captain. Galactic Enterprises is poised to revolutionize interstellar commerce. With our product line of human-made goods, we'll corner the alien market in no time. Jane pinched the bridge of her nose. And what exactly are we selling to these aliens? Why, the wonders of human ingenuity, of course. Gerald exclaimed. Snuggies, chamois, those little vegetable choppers that wait for it, slap and chop. The second-in-command leaned in close to Jane. Permission to fire photon torpedoes, Captain? Tempting, Jane muttered before addressing Gerald. Mr. Worthington, while I appreciate your enthusiasm, I'm afraid we'll have to decline. We're a bit busy defending Earth from alien invasions at the moment. Gerald's smile faltered for the first time. But think of the potential. You could be a diamond-level space consultant in no time. I think I'll stick with my current job title, thanks, Jane replied dryly. Now, unless you have any actually useful information about potential alien threats, I'm going to have to ask you to stop using our emergency channels for your sales pitch. As Gerald opened his mouth to protest, Jane made a slashing motion across her throat. The communications officer cut the transmission. Well, Jane said to the stunned silence on the bridge, I guess some things are universal. Even in space, you can't escape multi-level marketing schemes. Her second-in-command chuckled. What's next? Alien timeshare presentations? Don't even joke about that, Jane groaned. At this rate, I wouldn't be surprised if the next transmission we get is from a Martian prince who needs our help transferring his space credits. As if on cue, the communications panel lit up again. The young ensign at the station looked up, his expression a mix of disbelief and resignation. Captain, you're not going to believe this, but... Jane held up a hand. Let me guess, Nigerian prince? The ensign shook his head. Close. Apparently, it's a Neptunian duke. A collective groan echoed across the bridge. Jane slumped in her chair, wondering if it was too late to turn in her resignation and open a quiet little cafe on some backwater planet. You know, she mused, when they said space was the final frontier, I don't think this is what they had in mind. Her second-in-command patted her shoulder sympathetically. Look on the bright side, Captain, at least it's never boring. Jane snorted. True. All right, people, let's draft a new protocol. From now on, any transmission that starts with congratulations or you've been selected goes straight into the spam folder. I don't care if it's from the President of Earth or the Grand Poobah of the Andromeda Galaxy. As the crew set about their tasks with renewed vigor and more than a few chuckles, Jane couldn't help but smile. Sure, the universe was vast and full of wonders, but it was also, apparently, full of beings trying to sell you something. Some things, it seemed, truly were universal. She leaned back in her chair, eyes fixed on the star-studded expanse before them. "Well, universe," she murmured, "bring it on. Whatever you've got, slave traders, pyramid schemes, or interplanetary spam, Earth is ready. Just maybe give us a break for lunch, okay? Even defenders of galactic freedom need a sandwich break now and then." With that, Captain Jane Harper, newly christened defender against both alien invaders and cosmic con artists, settled in for whatever the universe decided to throw at them next. After all, in space, no one can hear you scream, but they can apparently still try to sell you a timeshare. As the bridge crew settled into a wary vigilance, monitoring for any new transmissions or potential threats, Jane's second-in-command approached her chair with a datapad in hand. "Captain," he said, his voice a mix of amusement and concern, "you might want to take a look at this. It seems our little encounter with Glugdor has gone viral." Jane raised an eyebrow. "Viral? What do you mean?" He handed her the datapad. "Apparently, someone on board recorded your conversation with Glugdor and uploaded it to GalacTube. It's got over 1 billion views already." Jane stared at the screen in disbelief. There she was, in all her sarcastic glory, telling off an alien slaver with all the finesse of a bulldozer in a china shop. The comments section was a riot of alien and human reactions, ranging from cheers of support to outraged huffing from what appeared to be Glugdor's species. "Well," Jane said slowly, "I guess that's one way to announce our presence to the galaxy. Think they'll make t-shirts?" Her second-in-command grinned. "Already happening, Captain." "Earth, where alien slavers get served, is trending on Facebook." Jane groaned. "Fantastic. I always wanted to be a meme. What's next? Action figures?" As if on cue, the communication panel lit up again. The long-suffering ensign looked up, his expression a mix of confusion and resignation. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission from Earth. It's a company called Hasbro." Jane's head hit the back of her chair with a thud. "You've got to be kidding me." The view screen flickered to life, revealing an enthusiastic marketing executive. "Captain Harper, we've seen your incredible video, and we have an amazing opportunity for you. How would you like to be the face of our new action figure line, Galactic Defenders, Earth's Sassy Saviors?" Jane stared at the screen, her expression caught between disbelief and hysterical laughter. What?" The marketing exec continued, undeterred. "Picture this, a Captain Jane Harper action figure, complete with witty one-liner sound chip. Press the button and hear classics like, 'Slave this, Squid Face,' and 'I've seen better offers in a spam email.'" The bridge erupted in poorly suppressed laughter. Jane's second-in-command was practically doubled over, tears streaming down his face. Jane took a deep breath, trying to maintain some semblance of professionalism. "While I appreciate the offer, I'm afraid I'll have to decline. We're a bit busy defending Earth from potential alien threats." The exec's smile never faltered. "But think of the merchandising potential. We could have a whole line, the snarky captain, the level-headed second-in-command, the exasperated communications officer." "End transmission," Jane said firmly. The screen went black, leaving the bridge in a moment of stunned silence before laughter broke out again. Jane turned to her crew, a mix of amusement and exasperation on her face. "All right, listen up, new protocol. We are not, under any circumstances, signing any merchandising deals, appearing in commercials, or endorsing any products. I don't care if it's for action figures, breakfast cereals, or alien Chia pets. We're here to defend Earth, not become the next big thing in galactic pop culture. Got it?" A chorus of "Yes, Captain," rang out, punctuated by poorly suppressed chuckles. Jane slumped in her chair, rubbing her temples. "You know, when I signed up for this job, I thought the biggest challenge would be navigating asteroid fields or negotiating peace treaties. Nobody mentioned anything about fending off interstellar marketing departments." Her second-in-command, finally regaining his composure, patted her shoulder. Look on the bright side, Captain, at least we're making a good first impression on the galaxy. Nothing says don't mess with Earth quite like going viral for sass-talking an alien slaver. Jane couldn't help but crack a smile. I suppose you're right. Though I shudder to think what the next alien encounter will be like. They'll probably expect a stand-up routine along with the photon torpedoes. As if the universe itself had a sense of humor and terrible timing, the ship's sensors began to beep urgently. The tactical officer's eyes widened as he read the incoming data. Captain, he called out, his voice a mix of excitement and trepidation, we're picking up a massive energy signature. It looks like a ship, but it's huge. Like, dwarfs a small moon huge. Jane straightened in her chair, all traces of humor gone from her face. Battle stations, everyone. Looks like we might have another customer for Earth's special brand of hospitality. As the crew rushed to their positions, Jane couldn't help but mutter under her breath, I swear, if this turns out to be the galaxy's largest door-to-door salesman, I'm retiring to become a hermit on Mars. The massive ship loomed into view on their screen, its sleek design unlike anything they'd seen before. As they watched, a transmission began to come through. Jane took a deep breath, squaring her shoulders. All right, folks, let's show the galaxy what Earth is really made of. And someone please make sure we're not accidentally live streaming this time. The last thing we need is for this to turn into an intergalactic reality show. As the alien transmission began to clear, the bridge crew of Earth's first line of defense prepared to face whatever the universe had in store for them next, be it friend, foe, or overzealous marketing executive. The view screen flickered to life, revealing a sight that made the entire bridge crew blink in unison. Instead of the expected alien visage, they were greeted by what appeared to be a giant floating brain. Tendrils of energy pulsed around it, and in the center, two piercing eyes regarded them with unmistakable intelligence. For once, Jane found herself at a loss for words. The brain creature spoke, its voice resonating directly in their minds. Greetings, humans of Earth. We are the Cerebrands, guardians of galactic knowledge. We have observed your recent interactions with other species. Jane cleared her throat, trying to regain her composure. Well, that's flattering. I hope we put on a good show for you. The Cerebrand's eyes narrowed slightly, a hint of amusement evident. Indeed. Your species' penchant for sarcasm and wit in the face of adversity is intriguing. We have come to offer you a choice. Oh boy, Jane muttered under her breath. Here we go again. Louder, she addressed the Cerebrand, a choice? Let me guess, join you or be destroyed? Become your willing subjects or face annihilation? I've got to say, we're getting a bit tired of these offers. To everyone's surprise, the Cerebrand emitted what could only be described as a mental chuckle. Nothing so dramatic, Captain Harper. We offer you knowledge, the accumulated wisdom of 1,000 galaxies. In exchange, we ask that you share with us the intricacies of human humor. A stunned silence fell over the bridge. Jane's second-in-command leaned in close. Did an all-powerful alien brain just ask us to explain jokes to it? Jane nodded slowly, a grin spreading across her face. I believe it did. She turned back to the view screen. Let me get this straight, you're offering us the knowledge of the universe in exchange for a comedy masterclass? The Cerebrand's energy tendrils pulsed in what might have been excitement. Precisely. Your species' ability to find levity in even the most dire situations is unparalleled. We believe this humor of yours may be the key to solving conflicts across the galaxy. Jane couldn't help it, she burst out laughing. Oh, this is rich. We've gone from fighting off slavers to becoming the galaxy's stand-up comedians. All right, big brain, you've got a deal. But I've got to warn you, our jokes don't always translate well. The Cerebrand's eyes seemed to twinkle. We are prepared for the challenge. Shall we begin with the concept of knock-knock jokes? And so, in a turn of events that no one could have predicted, the crew of Earth's flagship found themselves conducting an impromptu comedy workshop for an alien superintelligence. As Jane explained the intricacies of puns, sarcasm, and the ever-elusive dad joke, knowledge of advanced technologies and cosmic mysteries flowed into the ship's computers. Hours passed, filled with laughter, groans, and the occasional confused silence as the Cerebrand grappled with particularly obscure pop culture references. And that, Jane said, wiping tears of laughter from her eyes, is why the chicken crossed the road. The Cerebrand was silent for a long moment, its energy tendrils swirling in deep thought. Finally, it spoke. "We think we understand." The humor lies in the subversion of expectations, the anticipation of a profound reason only to be met with utter simplicity. Jane nodded, grinning. "You've got it. Congratulations, you now understand about 12% of human humor. Only about 1 million more jokes to go." As the impromptu cultural exchange continued, Jane couldn't help but marvel at the absurdity of it all. Here they were, teaching knock-knock jokes to a cosmic brain, all in the name of galactic peace. Her second-in-command sidled up to her, a bemused expression on his face. "You know, Captain, when they said laughter was the best medicine, I don't think they meant for the entire universe." Jane chuckled, shaking her head. "Well, it beats the alternatives we've seen so far. I'll take comedy lessons over slave traders any day." As the Cerebrand attempted its first "why did the alien cross the asteroid belt" joke with mixed results, Jane couldn't help but feel a surge of pride. Humanity might not be the most advanced species in the galaxy, but they were certainly proving to be the most entertaining. And in a universe full of dangers, slavers, and overzealous marketers, maybe that was exactly what was needed, a species that could laugh in the face of adversity and teach others to do the same. "All right, big brain," Jane called out, clapping her hands together, "ready for your next lesson? We're moving on to satire, but I've got to warn you, it's going to get a little meta." As Jane launched into an explanation of satire, complete with references to Earth's political landscape and pop culture, the Cerebrand's energy tendrils pulsed with increasing frequency. It was clear the alien intelligence was struggling to keep up with the nuances of human wit. "So you see," Jane concluded, "satire is like holding up a funhouse mirror to society. It's exaggerated, it's ridiculous, and yet it's true enough to make you think." The Cerebrand was silent for a long moment, its massive form seemingly pulsating with deep thought. Finally, it spoke. "We believe we grasp the concept. Allow us to attempt a satirical observation." Jane leaned back in her chair, a mix of anticipation and trepidation on her face. "This ought to be good," she muttered to her second-in-command. The Cerebrand's voice resonated in their minds once more. "Observe, is it not amusing that a species capable of splitting the atom still finds entertainment in watching felines on your internet? Perhaps the true measure of intelligence is not technological advancement but the ability to appreciate the simple joy of a cat video." The bridge fell silent for a beat before erupting into laughter. Jane wiped a tear from her eye, genuinely impressed. "Well, I'll be damned, the big brain's got jokes." The Cerebrand's eyes seemed to twinkle with pride. "We are pleased our attempt at humor was successful. However, we must confess confusion over one aspect of human comedy. What is the significance of this banana peel we keep encountering in your slapstick references?" Jane opened her mouth to explain, then paused, a mischievous glint in her eye. "You know what? I think this calls for a practical demonstration. Who's up for a little performance art?" Her second-in-command groaned. "Captain, please tell me you're not thinking what I think you're thinking." "Oh, I absolutely am," Jane grinned, already heading for the ship's galley. "Someone get me a banana and a camera, we're about to give the Cerebrand a crash course in physical comedy." What followed was a series of increasingly elaborate pratfalls, each met with confused silence.